which is how criminals and people who form dysfunctional relationships are more of the time. It's because of their sensibilities. It's because of how they're training their central nervous system to process stimuli. Thus, they don't interact with it in a way that is enhancatory. Instead, it's handicapping because there's some element of destructiveness that is definitive of it. That's definitive of the damage that it causes. The more circular, the more wave-like you allow your muscles to develop, the greater their capacity for creating bigger waves or smaller waves. This is the first step in commanding that recalibration of your awareness and your capacity to amplify the nerve signal sensation, and thus the transportation of whatever amount of nutrients or heat needs to equalize your body's imbalance, or will satisfy the mind's desire to generate strength or to generate relaxation. The greater you become at sensitizing yourself to those variations, the more empowered you become in further bringing about a more perfect union. Because you are more capable of controlling your union. Angie? No. She wants to jump up on my leg, I know. No, baby girl. Okay, come on. Seems like every time I do one of these, she comes in to be a part of it. This is important, though, and I want everyone to appreciate not just its importance, but the potential that exists for us collectively to go back to the source, not just of the body, but of the mind. Whenever you become quiet, that's a return to the source. That's the beginning of an immersion in the natural world. That's the beginning of the creation of a permanent culture, because this fusion is how we perfect the inner universe and the outer universe, by choosing what to plant, by choosing what to design, and then how we design it to be most conducive to the creation of a continual culture that's not just stopping the damage, but is creating value that's enhancing the culture, that's enhancing the atmosphere, that's enhancing to human relationships, to loving relationship, to the quality of competition. That's the power of civilization. Civilization makes those values understood and conceptualized in such a way that the reasoning and the justification and all of the things that they enable us to do makes our commitment to them that much easier. That is another way of training the central nervous system to be sensitized to a different standard. Even at the molecular level, our diets, our sensibilities, the initial calibration is unique for everyone, just like our genetic code is unique for everyone. These are going to California with me. I printed out on some adhesive picture or paper, and I printed out these little designs that I made with Inkscape, and printed them out and put them on these. These are gonna be gifts, promo, whatever's. But this idea, this type of conversation needs to be had with big groups of people. This conversation needs to be had by millions, billions of us. But we got to start with tens. I think that this is going to be a situation in which I'm going to have people who want to be captivated, people who have been captivated because they were open to new ideas. This is kind of the fulfillment of that, of those new ideas' aggregate potential. This is more than just furniture, because you don't need the furniture. The furniture just makes the potential more easily developed, and it becomes something that everyone can access. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. This has to be the main goal, the main priority for my life. And I think everyone needs to take this and buy them, build them, borrow them. The plans are not hard. Buy a 4x4. Buy some 1x8. Get a saw. Cut an angle. It doesn't even have to be perfectly flat. In fact, it might even be better for it to be asymmetric, because that will just speed up the process of sensitizing oneself to this new sensory dynamic. Why? Because the asymmetry of the uthrone is what shocks the central nervous system into this awareness. Without the shock, maybe the central nervous system wouldn't be as aware. Our awareness is perfect all the time. We're already at 99.98. How do we get to that 98.9999 into infinity? We're not far from infinity. We're not far from eternity. We've got all the knowledge about how to bring about immortality and make our belief in thermodynamics to be the source of our spirituality, the source of our existence. We're energy. We're energy that's trapped in a certain form, and it's built and it decays and it's built again for a long time. It's a self-creative system once it gets started, and that makes it special. That makes it something worth valuing. And that's why every person, that's why all of life has value, because it's alive. But that does not mean that nothing else does, because everything impacts everything else. Mm. 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 Oh, so important to activate every sector of our bodies. Which is to align ourselves in general ways. Align ourselves from a kneeling position. Then from a kneeling and elevated arms position. Go through all of these different stages, but no one has time for that. Well, I don't know if everyone's working out at the gym. Maybe people do. Maybe people do have time to spend on going through this system of sensitization in a methodical workout-like way. Does anybody want to systematize one of these with me? I've got to remember that I'm going to California, and that's got to be the priority right now. I think whenever I come back, the systems are in these videos. So even if I die on this trip, the system is established and is going to continue. I've got to make sure that I'm being a good mentor, that I'm being a good teacher. And that means ensuring that the curriculum that I've created is even easier to absorb and is even more powerful at changing someone's thinking, someone's life, than I could have ever imagined. I have to remind myself of the power of this system and how transformative it can be, because even I sometimes fall into that world of depression, that sense that this is never going to work, that nobody's ever going to really believe me, nobody's ever going to really